another We Should Talk. Mr. Kunkel, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Palmer. How are you?
Good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Good.
So sometimes I sit and ponder things, and I wonder why the leftists have changed their mind or changed their stance on certain things. And it's normally when I don't have a pen and paper or anything in front of me. And so the other day I decided I would try to remember all these things
Right.
and write them all down so we could talk about them. And I keep coming up with more, but I figure we give it a try.
Don't you think
through
that
this
sometimes they just take the opposite position, whatever it is?
Oh yeah. They used to be for peace, and now it's like they're. Oh no, we need to fight on Ukraine's behalf.
Yeah.
No matter what.
No matter what.
And it's like, well, is that the only border you're worried about? Because they don't care about our border being invaded. That's for sure.
No.
So that's that's one we don't have down here. But I mean, one thing that I remember leftists, and I was kind of this way too, and I still am even more so, is don't trust big pharma.
Right.
They really don't have your health in mind. They're trying to keep you hooked on certain prescription medications, which make them lots and lots of money and have side effects, which force you at some point to take some other medication to deal with that side effect.
Boardroom decisions.
Yeah, boardroom decisions, not health decisions.
Right.
And, the saying, a patient cured is a customer lost.
Right.
So that was the leftist mantra for a long, long time until COVID.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, you were not allowed to question big pharma. And the biggest of the big pharma, like Pfizer, didn't they settle like the biggest lawsuit ever? I mean, they're really bad. They've caused a lot of harm throughout the years and suffering, but all of a sudden, big pharma was above reproach.
Well, remember
to the
that
leftists.
Pfizer, was it not? Oh, it was Moderna. The CEO was part of the drug solution along with Fauci.
Right.
I mean, they're in bed with people like Fauci who just want to control you.
Yes. And
doesn't have anything to do with making you better.
Yeah, they were forcing people into these experimental concoctions that mess with your DNA permanently and cause turbo cancer. Well, we find out now, but at the time, they were just extremely questionable. And they were lying about them, but you were not allowed to dispute that in any way. In fact, medical doctors with a long history of being very professional and very thoughtful would come out and say things like, well, I've had good success with ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine,
right.
Monoclonal antibodies, things like that, Z-Paks, and they were deplatformed and threatened with their medical licenses over this. So this whole, and the lefties were cheerleading it.
Right.
They demanded that we take this experimental concoction or lose your job, possibly go to jail. Like countries like Australia, they had basic, prison camps for people.
Isn't that awful?
Everyone had an app on their phone, and if they got within a certain radius of a person who was, infected with COVID, had the sniffles,
I know,
they would come and you're going to be in this quarantine camp against your will.
So hideous.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's what a huge difference from don't trust big pharma to you cannot question big pharma or we're going to come after your livelihood and possibly your freedom.
Right. I was in shock when that whole Australia thing came. Yeah, I've always
because they took away their guns after the Port Arthur mass shooting.
I used to do business in Australia, and I used to do business with Canadians and with Australians, I should say. And the Canadians were never reasonable, and you could never hold them to what they committed to.
Really?
Yeah. In my experience. Maybe it was just, a company or two, but still it was, why aren't we doing what we talked about? It's your fault. You didn't send, no, it's not my fault. We did send you. Anyway, the point is, Australians were always very reasonable and industrious, and they wanted to go after the solution. Always.
Really?
Yeah. And then this COVID thing came along, and they were ready to put you in jail because you frickin' sneezed.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, it was crazy. And
it is the entirely. It wasn't the let's make you well drug. It was the let's control you drug.
Exactly. It was the globalist wet dream to control people and hide behind a supposed medical emergency. And I realized some people died with COVID or of COVID. Most of the numbers that they tout were people who died with COVID, not due to the COVID disease itself, which also was an engineered virus. And that's known now. They kept saying, Fauci was lying, that it was not bioengineered, but it was in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
I am science.
Yeah,
damn it.
I am science.
Partnered with Bill Gates, partnered with Tony Fauci. In 2014, the reason that Tony Fauci was doing gain of function is because after the anthrax attack, billions of dollars started pouring into bioweapons research, and Tony Fauci needed to get his share. So he gets $6.1 billion from us, the U.S. taxpayer. He gets $1.6 billion every year from the military, from BARDA and DARPA and the Pentagon. And that is for doing bioweapons research disguised as vaccine research, because they're the same thing. It's called dual use.
To move on, and the other thing that happened, this is also during COVID, and these are two different things, but the left has always said, my body, my choice, when referring to abortion, which is ridiculous because the baby growing in your womb, or the fetus, is a different body. It's not your body.
And a life.
And it's a life. And I don't know when the soul enters the body, but at some point it certainly does. And
let's make a law about it.
Yeah, there should be a law about it. But, they kept saying that my body, my choice. Like, it is, your body, your choice to some extent, but that's a completely separate body in there. And, it's also not your body, your choice, because we have laws against suicide. Right. That's your body, your choice. But, of course, now, like Canada, who you mentioned, they have physician-assisted suicide, and they're using it like crazy. Like, what is that? The Nova rule law? Or, I forget what it is.
I don't know it.
But they're... it's like, I got a hangnail. Oh, we could put you to death, kind of thing. And they're going to eventually, if they come up with government health care for everyone here in this country, like they did in Canada, they're going to be pushing it too, because the way to flatten the expenses on the government providing all this free health care, which they can't possibly deliver, is to not deal with the end-of-life situation. So if a person is at a certain age and they have some sort of chronic thing they could probably live with for several years, given the right treatment, they're just going to put them to death. We're heading down that slope.
Really?
Yeah. So that my body, my choice it's not going to be a choice at some point for physician-assisted suicide. Is not going to be it's just going to be mandated. Wow. And also, like, this goes back to COVID, my body, my choice. Well, isn't it my choice to not put an experimental concoction in my arm or into my body? This thing that hasn't been tested thoroughly? Right. No, it's like, no, you must get this jab or we're going to get you fired from your job and possibly even imprison you.
Possibly. I mean, they did it.
They did in other countries. They didn't here, but people...
but they did get rid of your jobs, and they fired lots of military guys and doctors and...
Fired lots of people.
People who thought about it, who put some... critical thinking to the matter.
And it really is my body, my choice when you're like taking this, supposed vaccine.
Right.
Who does that affect? And their excuse was, the lefties' excuse was, well, if you don't take this jab, you get sick, you're going to infect me. Maybe, but that's the case for any
like a cold.
Yeah, a cold.
Right.
The flu, the regular seasonal flu, anything like that. And we don't force people to take like the shingles vaccine or the kids get the chickenpox vaccine, but if you didn't have it, or if your parents were anti-vaccine, you didn't have to take it. Of course, then they force you to they try to force you by saying you can't attend public school as a kid if you don't have the full panel of vaccines. So it is a lot of coercion,
right?
And so the my body, my
very
choice,
heavy-handed.
They've never meant it, and when they used it for the abortion argument, it was a false argument, in my opinion. I've noticed this too. This is this thing with lefties and the Antifa, BLM type people. They hate landlords. They hate, they think every landlord is a slumlord to them, and they are the scum of the earth. They should be killed. They should, they're really ridiculous about it. It's like, there's a lot of landlords who are, there are some bad ones, but there's laws against, being a complete slumlord, and they just need to be enforced.
I'm the opposite. If I rent a place, I want to fix it perfect.
Yeah, I want to make it nice. Exactly.
I just can't help myself.
I know. We're landlords now. We're renting our house in Washington, and we want it to be nice. It was very nice. I haven't seen it in a while, but
It's definitely a different headspace.
oh yeah,
than renting.
It's definitely weird. But
Yeah.
that comes to the thing now. Isn't the county, because you have to pay county property taxes.
Right.
Everywhere you live, you have to pay property taxes.
Right.
Well, aren't they the landlord at that point? Because you're in this house that you own, or if you have a mortgage, the bank owns it. But if you own it outright, you still don't own it, because every year you have to give lots of money, depending on the value of the house and what they say the value is, to the county government.
And if you don't pay it,
They'll take your house from you.
They'll put a, what do you call it?
A lien.
A lien up against your house.
And then they foreclose.
Supposedly in this country, we do not have a wealth tax.
Mm-hmm.
But this is it. This is the wealth tax. If you have a nice house, you're going to have to pay part of the value of that to the
Right.
county government.
And they say what the value is.
And
it's
right.
always escalating. It
Right.
never goes down,
Right.
which is ridiculous. And we pay a lot of money in property taxes, believe me. Like the first house I had between the mortgage and because I couldn't put a huge lump sum down, I had to pay that PMI insurance, the mortgage insurance for a while, and the taxes and all that
Right.
were rolled into the mortgage. Well, my property taxes are more than that, than paying everything for my first house. It's just ridiculous how it's gone up.
Probably more than your house.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember my sister bought a house, and it was something, it was when I was a kid, and I'm no spring chicken. But her house, I found out later in life, was something like $12,000.
Oh my God.
The whole house.
Yeah,
And they were struggling.
you can't even get a car for that.
It's just amazing to think.
You get
Make a house payment
a
for a lot of places.
nondescript used car for that, maybe.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. But so the lefties hate landlords, but the county is your landlord. And even worse, I mean, they can sell it outright from under you if you don't pay your property. They'll kick you out. They'll have the sheriff come by and kick you out like a landlord would if you quit paying your rent. But for some reason, these lefties who hate individual landlords don't hate the county. It's the same thing.
Don't you think they feel beholden to the county because the county might?
Well,
they might need the county
They
to do
do.
something.
That's the problem. They need government because they need to have some armed people working on their behalf to steal money from productive members of society so they can do fuck all,
Right.
and sit on their butts and play video games in their mom's basement. Because you hear a lot of lefties say, "Well, I don't pay property tax. I rent." It's like you're paying
exactly.
property tax for your landlord who you hate. So
It's built into the price.
it's built into the price. It has to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a situation in our county where we are beholden to the county to fix our roads, which they don't do.
Right.
And our property taxes keep going up, and we're neighbors. In case you don't know, we're neighbors. Our property taxes keep going up every year.
Yeah.
And the roads get worse and worse and worse. And the county supervisors, crap that they are. I mean,
because they're all Democrats.
They're supervising the disintegration of our county.
We had some good Republican candidates for county supervisor. And of course, this is a Democrat county, unfortunately.
Well, it's a Hispanic community, and Hispanics traditionally vote for Hispanics.
Yes.
For people with Hispanic last names.
These two county guys running for county supervisor were Hispanic. And they were really, I went to see them talk several times and donated money and everything. And they were very good, solid candidates, good guys. And just unfortunately didn't make it. But, the roads don't get fixed. And that part of the reason is the county treasurer embezzled $40 million.
Yeah.
And,
I think it was 38, but who's counting?
yeah. It's just a rounding error at that point.
Really, truly, who is counting? Because nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody was looking. There's supervisors in our county. They are called the supervisors. They're supposed to be supervising.
And overseeing.
And overseeing.
And, when I was a commissioner for the Water and Sewer District back in Washington State, the state would have their state attorney, no, not the attorney general, the auditor general. Every year, the auditors would come in, and there would be probably 2 to 3 week process with two people coming into our offices, going through all the books and policies and expense sheets that people turned in and things like that, had audit every year. And how did it not get caught in this county? This went on for, 10 years or more?
That's a decade.
A decade? Yeah. I was going to say decades, but I don't think it was 2. I think it was a decade or about a decade. But it took them a while to embezzle the $40 million, and a lot of that money will never get back. So we've been following the news on this embezzlement, and the person, as far as I know, following the story from the news, only the treasurer has been arrested and is going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, nobody else could possibly have known.
But there has to be other people involved, because I don't think you can embezzle that much money in a relatively small, poor county. 40 million is a lot of money for a county like this. I mean,
our county has 45,000 people.
Yeah, if we were Crook County in Illinois, where Chicago is, it would be a rounding error.
I think you could fairly call us Crook County.
Yeah. No, we're Cartel County here.
Right, exactly.
The Sinaloa cartel owns us. But I don't see how she did it by herself if, like everywhere else, these government agencies get audited every year by the state auditor general. So
what about the bank?
Yeah.
Did
How
they
are they not
notice
involved?
nothing?
Did they? Yeah.
How about all the clerks who were accepting the checks, from people who were paying their taxes?
Yeah, so that the treasurer had a property that was a horse property where they had horse boarding and things like that. Beautiful property. That got raided after she got arrested.
Right.
And now that property's
By the FBI.
Now that property's up for sale to kind of try to recoup some of the money. It's a $6 million property.
Right.
So how does a government worker in a little poor county afford a $6 million house in addition to other properties? That should have been a signal right there.
Right.
That this person is getting money from some illicit source.
And all those properties, when they were purchased, were recorded by the county.
Yeah, the county.
Oh, nope, didn't see that coming.
I wonder what she was paying in property taxes on that
Probably
property.
nothing.
Probably nothing. Yeah, I would say so. But that property it's beautiful.
My taxes are my taxes, and your taxes are my taxes.
That's right. I'll be taking that.
That's right.
But yeah, it's just unbelievable that these, your house is this weird thing. You pay taxes on it when you buy it, but then you pay every year that you own that property. You keep paying taxes on it. You never own it. Never, ever. It's never paid off.
Right.
You might as well rent and then not have to deal with the
Well,
upkeep.
what would happen if we went after this? If we got a law that we were promoting that
Right.
would wipe out property tax? Remember in California they had a Prop 13 because the prop is
to cap them, yeah.
to cap the
Yeah.
amount that it could expand by every year, and at a certain point to stop it.
Yes.
And I wonder if we could do something along those lines that could actually not only stop it, of course, that would be very hard to do in a Democrat-based, but still California was a Democrat-based government at the time that they passed that.
I don't know. It was pretty red back then.
But it was the population that voted for it.
Right. Yeah.
It was not
that's
the
a tough
government.
one
The
because
government will never vote in favor against their own getting taxes.
Then they're going to say, the left is going to, they're going to say, who's going to pay for the schools? And I've always been of the mind that it's like, if you have kids, you pay for the school.
Right. Why is that my business?
Yeah.
Why do I care how you indoctrinate what school you do?
Then they'll say, there's so many parents who can't afford to pay for the teachers and blah, blah.
Right.
Well, they can't even pay for their own school lunches, which are highly subsidized to begin with. There's a ton of kids who are getting free lunches. Just ridiculous. And of course, there's no shame with it, just like EBT cards.
Well, of course, I got a free lunch when I was in school.
Because you stole it?
I never thought about it. It just was there. We would just go to the cafeteria.
Did everyone get a free lunch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea that lunch was an issue.
Right.
It was like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah. I don't remember how it was. I know that if you wanted to buy like an ice cream bar or something afterwards, that you had to pay money for. But I think your parents like prepaid like for a month or for the school year or whatever. And then I don't know. I kind of remember we had tickets that we'd give. because there was, and a lot of times you would bring a lunch from home too. You'd bring a sack lunch.
Yes.
Versus the cafeteria food. It's been so long now. I don't remember every detail.
I have to say, the free lunch was worth every penny.
Yeah,
It was awful. It was awful. The food was just terrible.
Oh, I know. There were certain things that were okay, but for the most part, it just got awful.
Yeah.
The next one I have on the list, this one really bothers me because I am truly a scientist with a master's degree in hydrogeology, is trust the science. Well, first of all, science is not a conclusion. Science is a process.
Right.
And that nothing is set in stone. In fact, it can be, if new data come in, you have to change your existing theories. These are all theories. I mean, even like the seafloor spreading and how the continents were formed, and Pangea and Gondwanaland when they broke apart and formed the current continents. That's our best theory, but it's not settled. It's not ever settled because there's a very good chance that additional data will be found and it will change. So this trust the science is complete crap to begin with, but they said it during COVID, which is ridiculous because if you look into how and I hate to say vaccine, but the jab was developed, every vaccine has gone through animal testing to see, it's like, are these, what's going to kill these animals? What sort of dosage? What level?
Right.
Well, all the animals died. They stopped the animal testing for the COVID jab because it was just horrific.
And went right to people.
Yeah.
Which makes you think, what was their purpose?
It's
all
depopulation.
Yeah, maybe.
So these same idiots who say trust the science believe that men can get pregnant and lactate and have periods and things like that. And they also think that men and women are the same. And so these guys who pretend that they're women can play play against actual women in women's sports.
Right.
And that's not harming women because, hey, they're the same.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely wrong. I mean, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that men and women are different.
So agreed.
And, men are generally stronger. And in sports that require speed and or strength, they are going to dominate. And that's what's happened. But these lefties, they're clinging to this crazy idea, not based on any fact, but just based on politics, that men and women are equal. A person can just say they're a man or a woman, even though their genetics don't, their chromosomes don't support that,
right?
Or everything else, or their glands, or their body parts, and that you can just cut things off and add things, and it makes the person whatever they say they are, and that's just complete insanity.
Crap. It's crap.
And there's trust the science. Well, the science says there's men and there's women and there's nothing else.
I know.
Yeah, but they won't believe that.
Has
they don't
Fauci
like that.
ever weighed in on men and girls sports?
I don't. He probably has. But
he's such a goofball.
He's such. I wouldn't trust anything he says anyway.
No, of course.
Even if he would agree with me, I'd have to rethink my position because he's such a piece of garbage.
We're going to continue this. We want you to be part of it. If you have any comments on this, let us know.
Yeah, maybe there's things that bother you where it's like...
that don't bother us at all.
That we haven't thought of, or I thought of, and then I promptly forgot it because I walked through a doorway and my mind went blank, which happens all the time. It's like, what did I get in this room, come in this room for? I was going to get something.
So we'd love to hear from you. I'm Russell Palmer.
I'm Doug Kunkel.
And we should talk.